Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot and a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be the weaponization of the DOJ. Sadly, I'm not going to be asking if we've reached that point because we have. Okay, we are now to the point of this fascist, authoritarian, wannabe dictator has now officially weaponized the DOJ. I don't want to get, I'm not even going to be reading on, that text message, or he shitted out that thing on Trash Social that was supposed to be a DM because I keep saying the part of his brain that is making decisions should not be the part of his brain he uses to make decisions, okay? But that's what he's doing. Not even going to ask about Tom Homan because I know that, I kind of want to bring up the stuff that I know that's out there. Tom Homan and that $50,000 bribe, he will be held account to that, just not by this DOJ, okay? So what I'm specifically going to be doing a reading on, on this specific one, is a story that came out just as I was recording. That happened. There were several stories that came out in the New York Times just as I was putting like readings together to record, and this one is about that Pam Bondi and I think Todd Blanche are now pushing for prosecutors to investigate a group funded by George Soros. So if you will indulge me, I want to read just a little bit of this. I'll put the gift article in the description for you guys to read the full article. But this George Soros apparently has this global grant network now known as Open Society Foundations. It was founded decades ago to fund democratic initiatives around the world, particularly in communist and formerly communistic countries. In the 1990s, the organization expanded its work to the United States. It provides grants to groups that work for human rights, democracy, and equity. So we know that, MAGA and Trump, they don't like, anything like that. God forbid we should have human rights and, democracy, equity. Those are not in, MAGA's vocabulary. But Trump and some Republicans contend, without providing any evidence, that it is a shadowy network promoting civil unrest, violent protest, and property destruction. I'm sorry, that is in the MAGA wheelhouse, and the evidence that we have of that is January 6th. Liberals say the assertions are falsehoods aimed at stifling dissent. And, if I happen to have, some little maggot that's, wandered across this video, when you're looking at, if you want, to talk about riots and looting and all of that stuff, that has been proven time and time again that the majority of that is being done and instigated by bad actors, okay? And I'm not going to get into all of that right here. You can go do your research if that's what you like to do. But you're going to have to get out of your echo chamber to do that. So, yeah, a lot of that stuff has already been, and that's been going on for decades. I know even with the, back in 1968, 69, the I've Had a Dream speech, that whole march that they did, that whole event, they had their own security there because they were afraid of bad actors. So instigating stuff. So that goes back a long ways. So yeah, if they want to look at violence, look at January 6th. There's my evidence. So there's a claim, that this group has poured over $80 million into groups tied to terrorism or extreme violence. It cited, this claim, they cited an example of HAQ. I don't know how to pronounce that. A Palestinian human rights group critical of Israel. The report noted that the Israeli government declared in 2022 that this group was a front for terrorist activity. Well, the Israeli government, that's a whole nother reading. I'm not even going to get into the validity of that here in this reading. At the time, the Open Society Foundation criticized that move by the Israeli government, saying it was not based on credible evidence and was intended to discredit and silence Palestinian human rights groups. Well, that sounds more. Possible charges. So they're looking at possible charges into Open Society foundations to include racketeering, arson, wire fraud, and material support for terrorism, according to a copy of the directive. So, as I said, I want to kind of do a base reading into this specific thing, looking into George Soros. Okay. That was a really long intro. Thank you for letting me read that to you. As I said, this just came out. I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about that. I haven't even checked any other news. I'm just going to be, I saw this article and thought this needed to be a reading. So I will do a reading into, base reading into what does this look like into the Open Society Foundation. Okay. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. What is it that we need to know about the Open Foundations Society, or the Open Society Foundations, and this investigation that Pam Bondi is pushing? And I would like to also interject here, release the Epstein files, okay? All of this is distraction from the Epstein files. Just want to make sure we're all clear on that. We're all on the same page. So, looking into George Soros, how is that going to go? These are the cards that are kind of hard to shuffle, so sorry about that. Okay, as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Decisions being made. This is also going to be the Justice Department. Swords are going to be anything medical, anything legal, action taken. That's going to kind of fall into this. I'm trying to remember if Todd Blanche had something to do with this. I was reading up on several things, so that could be Todd Blanche actually. And then this is our message. Okay. This, I'm really getting the strong feeling of doing the bidding of Mad King Don. This is, the shit that Don's told us to do. And the challenge of this is they're having to follow the orders and the directives of, I was getting ready. I love Jennifer and Pumps from I've Had It. And they call, the biggest bunch of titty babies you've ever seen. And that is exactly what this is. This is having to do the bidding of the biggest little whiny titty baby out there. Jesus. Okay. Overcome, having to defend oneself. I think that George Soros that foundation is going to be just fine. Okay. With the foundation here, the lies. And we are seeing how they manufacture evidence, so-called evidence. Expect that to continue. Okay. There's going to be a lot of messaging with that. Wanting to bring an end to this foundation. Major transformation also. And these are the recent events. And I mean, they've been very clear. They want to bring that to an end. We don't want any money going to human rights. Okay. And the Lover's card. Let's see here. 8, 6, and 8. And messages, agreements. Agreements that have been made. What is this Lover's card? That's interesting that would come up there. So the Lovers. What is it that we need to know about the Lovers? This is like they're all saying, it's like this is the big, like we're saying this, but yet our actions are dismal. And they're not even on the same page with what they're doing. It's like this person's over here looking like elsewhere, whereas this person is looking in a new direction. And it's all because of the emotional whims of, a madman. Let me just look here real quick. Things that I was noticing in this, the clouds. Let me see here. We got clouds. Okay, so what I was doing here is I was kind of looking at the clouds, just kind of seeing, and it's almost like these storm clouds, like they almost like try to come in, but then I kind of feel this like clearing out, because here you don't have like the cloudy sky is just gone. So it's like we're concerned, we're worried about like what the weaponization of the DOJ is actually something to be worried about. However, I don't see this leading to like a full-blown storm. It's almost like the announcement was supposed to be like that shocking part. Okay, so let me put something here on this. I think this is just, they've been saying that they want to bring an end to this, to George Soros, like in his foundation, because we can't have money, funding any kind of liberal ideology like human rights. So, let me just see here. More about this ending card. Do we need to know anything more about that? Winning at all costs. How can we continue, moving forward with this? And all in the name of our country. Every time that comes up, I just want to vomit. Like, they're doing it all in the name of our country. No, they're not. This card here. This is a card of winning at all costs. I'm also kind of being reading this as you're left wanting. So it's like this person is wanting, like, you got all the swords, but these people are just walking away and they're looking like, but I want more. Like, why did you just walk away? And so it's like winning, but you're left wanting. You're not going to get all that you want. So how can we, look out, and this is that, looking out into the future, what message do we having, or do we have the ships coming in, and then all in the name of our country. So yeah, it's like he can do whatever he wants, but using this, this Palestinian group, is that going to be successful? Is that going to be successful at all? And I'm sure that the pressure is really ramping up, because now all these countries are recognizing the Palestinian, country. So how is this going to eventually, go and end? How is this going to end? I always get the people prevail. We prevail over the orange beast, the strength card. And there's Pam Bondi wanting to be a yes girl and planting seeds for the future. I hope they realize these are not the seeds that we're wanting. So I don't think this is like they're doing the bidding of, Mad King Don. And I always get like there's the start of stuff and then it never finishes. So yeah, with this, I'm not really seeing. They're going to do the investigation. They're going to do all of that. But I don't really see, there's like nothing there. So it's more, they're going to try this in the court of public opinion. That's what the purpose of this is. There's not going to be anything of substance come out. Now, are they going to, lie? Yes. Are they going to manufacture evidence or manipulate evidence, or like they find this kernel, like this teeny tiny kernel of truth and expand it? Yes. I mean, I don't know that's not really an intuitive moment. It's not a Tarot moment to be able to like, we see with our own eyes what they do. Expect that same thing to happen here. They're just going to continue that. And as I've gotten in so many readings, their ineptitude is what it is what saves us. It's like they're so inept at being criminals. They're stupid criminals, and that's their downfall. Stupidest timeline ever. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Okay, 14 minutes. Do I want to look into... I've got several DOJ things here. FBI Director James Comey, completely separate reading, because I want to look into that separately. They're trying... they did find... Marie... let's see. They're wanting... are they going to be able to find somebody to... I'm going to ask this real quick. Are they going to be able to find somebody to prosecute Letitia James and Adam Schiff? Because that's what, Trump was whining about in that trash social, tweet there, that post that was supposed to be a DM. and whining about, why are you not doing this? It's like Pam Bondi is not his Roy Cohn. You guys. Okay. Are they going to prosecute Letitia James and Adam Schiff? Boy, Trump wants it. I'm just going to do 3 cards here. And trying to find the evidence to do so. I don't think they can. I don't think they have the evidence. But they're doing it. This is like to rile up the base. And the bully wants. Yeah, they'll do it, but they're not. There's no evidence. They didn't break the law, so it's just to rile up the base. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with a lot of this stuff, is just rile up the base. So anyway, it is kind of worrisome. It is very, when this news comes out, it's meant to shock us. It's meant to, give us pause. It's meant to overwhelm us. And so the big thing is take a deep breath. And know that, we still are a democracy. We still, we the people will prevail. That I can say for sure. So thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I will keep doing these readings for as long as that I can, as long as we have this platform. So yeah, I appreciate it. I will put more readings up here for you to check out. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.